up, guys? It's your boy Alex, back again with the Brave Lionheart channel, and once again, welcome back to the Lionheart Review Corner. Yes, we're finally doing some more movie reviews. Like I said, it's been a while since I did a review on stuff, and I've mostly been doing other stuff and trying to think of when to get back to certain other things, but I'll get back to that later. Right now, we're back with the Lionheart Review Corner. Again, gotta stop saying the intro. So, we're in the month of July still. It's pretty much coming to a close, so I figured I might as well get some reviews out. We'll try to get some reviews out while getting some other stuff done. And there's a lot of movies that have come out recently in July that I really need to talk about, honestly. And one in particular, well, you can already tell from the title of the video, you knew this was going to be the first one to review for the month of July. So, yes, ladies and gentlemen, today we are finally talking about Space Jam 2. It's been pretty much put off ever since the movie come out. I was going to wait a few more days, or at least a few more weeks to talk about this, but considering I realized that the month of July is almost over, and August is coming up, and a bunch of other movies are going to come out, and I need to talk about them, and it might be a while for certain other ones to talk about, like two in particular that have come out, because I have not watched them yet, and yada yada yada, something like that. But right now, we're not focusing on that. Let's talk about Space Jam 2. And yeah, there's a lot to talk about it. It's time for the Slam Jam. Yep, we're finally talking about Space Jam 2, A New Legacy. Or its title, Space Jam, A New Legacy. Released on July 16th, 2021. And as a big fan of the first Space Jam movie, I was really excited to see this movie and see how it would turn out. Considering that Michael Jordan is not in this movie, and it's starring the GOAT, as he likes to call himself, LeBron James, who actually did a pretty good job in Thunderstruck, which I never really saw. But when the trailers dropped for this, and some of the updates that have dropped for this movie have been coming out, I was even more excited. And honestly, just to see the 2D animation style back, which was in the first movie, which they did a really great job in that first movie with the 2D animated cel-shaded style with the Looney Tunes. And it looks good in this trailer. And honestly, I was skeptical at first with the 3D animation, thinking, oh please, don't make the Looney Tunes CGI in this movie. And surprisingly, it works pretty well. So, without further ado, let's... Oh, yeah. Well, I figured I was in the wrong shirt, so, gotta be in the right shirt since this is a Space Jam sequel film we're talking about. Yeah, just had to change that real quick, because, it's Looney Tunes, and this is my other favorite Looney Tune character that I love, besides Wile E. Coyote, which we'll get to that in a few minutes. But anyway, let's not waste any time. Let's get going. So, now that we're in our right chair, our right shirt, let's get this review started, shall we? Sorry, I got my tongue tied there for a second. So, without further ado, let's start the review of Space Jam, A New Legacy. Oh, and also, guys, just letting you know again, this is going to be off the top of my head, so, no crazy stuff with the reviews. This is just what you're going to get, me remembering from off the top of my head, like most of my last videos I did on my old channel. And let's just get this started. So, our movie opens up pretty much the same way the first movie does. Where we had a look at the movie's version of Michael Jordan's young life as a kid. This movie does exactly the same. It's just the life of LeBron James as a kid. Or the film's version of LeBron James as a kid. Which I'm pretty sure in his real life he loved playing basketball and he got into it and he was like, yeah, this is going to be my career. Pretty much the same for Michael Jordan, I guess. Started out his career in school and stuff. Moving on from that. So, it turns out this is his first tryout game ever, or his first big game with his middle school team. I don't remember the name of the team, even though I probably should. It was a pretty nice name for the team. But apparently his mom can't make it because of work. And I'm going to be completely honest, I do like this opening scene. It's your typical, parent doesn't make it for a kid's thing or something. It's almost in every kid's movie, and let's remind ourselves this is a kid's movie. So was the first one. But yeah, it's the typical thing that happens in movies, and honestly, it's actually kind of nice and heartwarming. There's some decent acting from the kid playing young LeBron James. Same decent acting from the person playing his mom. I don't know her name, but moving on from that. James gets ready for his game, and his friend brings over a Game Boy. Well, the original Game Boy, not a Game Boy Color like most kids probably would have. But again, the original Game Boy is classic. And on it, he says he got a code that got the game to work. That's kind of a weird cheat code to have, to get a game working. I guess if you buy a new game for, like, whenever the Game Boy cost a lot for games back then for it, you know, you just had to have a code. You know, if the game doesn't work, hey, got a code for that. You know, technology back then, it was crazy for games like that. And considering this is a Looney Tunes basketball movie, he's playing Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle 2. Yeah, when I actually saw that, I reminded myself I did a reaction to Angry Video Game Nerd reviewing all the Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle games. Yeah, that brought back some memories. So yeah, the big game happens, LeBron misses the final shot, his team loses, and his coach is in this whole speech about like, oh, you need more focus, LeBron. You can't waste your time with video games. You know, something like that, with parents saying that. But again, with people playing video games nowadays and actually getting money, you know, getting paid to play video games, not sure that was a good life lesson back then. Again, not saying that as a real life lesson for any kids watching this video, or any parents watching this video. Just saying, that's not a real lesson. Again, you gotta get a job, gotta get work and stuff like that. I respect that, I really do. Anyway, moving on, we also get a pretty okay opening title. It's no, you know, Welcome to the Space Jam or anything, which sadly this movie lacked that, and I might give minus points for that. No, I'm just kidding, but you know, anyway, it's no Welcome to the Space Jam, but it's alright. And then we're introduced to our other main character in the movie, Dom James. God, that feels so much like a weird name to put together. But anyway, this is LeBron's movie son. I think at some point, like, the creators of the movie said they wanted to get his real kids to play in this movie. I don't know if they did, but if they did, I might have missed it when I was watching it, but anyway. So yeah, Dom is basically more of a gamer and not really into the whole basketball thing that his dad wants for him. You know, it's a typical dad that basically wants the thing that he's been good at for his son, but doesn't really understand what his son wants in that time frame, mostly. So yeah, Dom's a gamer, not a basketball star, but he knows some of the moves, though he messes them up completely and kind of gets his dad mad. And there's this whole thing where his son wants to go to a gamer con camp thing. They say it's E3, but it's some kind of gamer camp. It's kind of weird that E3 would also branch out into video game camping. Weird. While cutting away from that, we cut to Warner Brothers Studios, where we are introduced to our villain of the movie. A rogue AI algorithm known as Al-G. Yeah, the creators pretty much came up with a really dumb name, but hey, he's played by War Machine himself, the Falcon, or no, not the Falcon, War Machine. Sorry, I mixed the two heroes up together. Not for a particular reason or anything. But yeah, I mixed those two names up. And yeah, he's played by Don Cheadle, and I'm already going to get this out of the way. I was going to save this to talk about for the final, my final thought on the movie. But I freaking love Don Cheadle in this movie. Like, any scene that he is in, he is instantly hilarious. And of course, we know his comedy chops from one of the Marvel movies, Endgame, I think. Any other Marvel movie he's been in, he's usually serious, but again, he'll crack a little joke at times. But in this movie, he is all about the comedy. Anyway, this rogue AI hears about the success of King James and think this is a perfect time for him to mix his plan with Warner 3000 and whatnot. There's a whole subplot in the meeting that happens with Al-G and LeBron and some of his family members, his two oldest sons, basically, and two executives, or one of the Warner Brother executives. And funny enough, one of them is played by Glenn from Walking Dead. Yeah, knocking another celebrity off the charts in this movie. Anyway, so moving on, Al-G's plan as for the Warner 3000 project, as he calls it, he wants LeBron James to star in a 3D CGI animated version of himself in all the other movies. You know, Batman, Harry Potter, and we get a look at CGI LeBron James. It's terrifying. Mind you, not as terrifying as basketball Michael Jordan in the first movie, but almost on the creep factor level. Ugh, those teeth. But anyway, LeBron basically refuses the algorithm's offer, and that gets him mad. I mean, it's pretty obvious you're going to get mad to refuse an offer if you've been working on this for a long time, being stuck in a Warner Brothers serververse. God, that name just does not sound right and does not roll off the tongue. So he's basically just like, I'm going to end this man's whole career in one moment. So while that's going on, Dom and LeBron pretty much talk about how Dom wants to go to he wants to go to video game camp, and LeBron wants him to go to basketball camp. And then, of course, they get that whole line from the trailer where Dom's like, why don't you just let me do me? And again, the first time I heard that, I was just like, okay, I feel like they're already early sneaking in the adult jokes early on in this movie, aren't they? Yeah, pretty weird. So, yeah, this whole leads them into getting trapped down into the Warner Brothers archives, and them getting sucked into the serververse. So now, LeBron and his son are stuck in the serververse, and they are met face to face with the great and powerful Al-G! Yeah, he kind of does a little Wizard of Oz reference. It's not super funny, but it's a nice little reference, and it kind of gets a laugh out of Don Cheadle. Granted, a movie laugh, not a blooper laugh or anything. I'm pretty sure they had fun on the set with this, but either way. So LeBron finally meets Al-G face to face, and Al-G kidnaps Dom. Yeah, like, super quick, and he's like nonchalant throughout that whole scene about it. So, yeah, Al-G kidnaps Dom, and of course, issues the challenge to LeBron that if he's going to get his son back, he's going to have to beat Al-G in a game of basketball. And he's going to have to put a team together. And he's kind of hinting the fact that he was really upset that, LeBron, disapproved of his, or pretty much declined his offer of merging himself with, or something about merging LeBron with the Warner 3000 project, or whatever have you. The weird CGI ball that, of course, LeBron had a joke crack about, what in the Matrix hell? Something like that. And again, yeah, this is a kid's movie. Can't say stuff like that, but they somehow got away with it. Something like that. Moving on, so Al-G sends LeBron off to find a team and tells him to be sent down to the rejects by his CGI cartoony partner, Pete. I don't know what Pete is. He's some kind of computer program that just speaks in gleeps and, bloops and, gibberish or something like that. I don't know. It really doesn't make any sense, but he's okay. So LeBron is sent down to Toon World, and this is where we get the one thing I was excited for about this movie. The 2D animated bits. Where we also get 2D animated LeBron James. And I'm going to honestly say it, I was not too excited for 2D animated LeBron James. Not that much, honestly. I was not too excited for it. Just not that happy. And as it turns out, he's not the only one in Toon World that's happy to see someone, because we get our appearance of Bugs Bunny in this movie, voiced by Jeff Burgum, who's actually been doing Bugs for a long time, until they got some of the new people, originally I think they were going to get Eric Bauza to voice Bugs Bunny, but he's already voicing him in the new Looney Tunes cartoon. By the way, if you guys have not checked that out, I highly recommend you go check it out. It's fun, it's crazy, it's fun to watch. I haven't watched all the episodes of it yet, but I probably will soon. Something like that. And we get all sorts of crazy loony hijinks, and I'm probably going to get talked about this in the comments if I don't mention this. We get Big Chungus in this movie. For those of you who don't know who Big Chungus is, it's a meme that kind of died out when it was shown in an episode of Looney Tunes where Elmer trapped Bugs in a hole for a while, and then Bugs did the same thing. He turned into a fat version of himself. and that basically became a meme, and it made it into the movie, and I was like, yeah, they put this in the movie. I have no problem with Big Chungus, honestly. Anyway, moving on, it turns out Bugs is the only person, well, Toon, in Toon World. Because it turns out Al G basically made a deal with the Toons to basically send them through all the other Warner Brothers stuff and films and cartoons, and Bugs was left alone by himself in Toon World. So LeBron's just like, hey, why don't you and I team up so we can get your friends back, so that way we can get a team to work together to get a team together so I can get my son back. Even, like, Bugs makes a little reference to the first movie, being like, wait, you want me to team up with a super popular NBA star to play a life-threatening basketball game? That oddly sounds familiar. Yeah, you'll get a lot of reference to that from the first movie in this one. Trust me, we'll talk about that way later in the movie. So, anyway, it's off to find the Toons. And surprisingly, they get help from Marvin the Martian, who... I'm going to talk about in the final film how I feel about how they use the characters in this movie, and yeah. So, we basically get as promised, not exactly what was promised, but basically the Toon characters added into scenes from movies. It took me a while to notice it, but yeah. All this movie really did was just have scenes from other Warner Brothers films and added the Looney Tunes characters into it. Which really was not the best idea, honestly, sadly. But hey, at least the 2D animation and live action stuff actually works well with this, I gotta say. Sadly, that's not what they did with the rest of the movie, which I'll talk about that at the final thought of this movie. Yeah. And honestly, probably one of my favorite scenes is we also get introduced to Lola Bunny again, this time happily voiced by Zendaya. You know, MJ from all the Marvel movies, and she was also super popular on Disney Channel. Stuff like that. And I'm going to say, there's been a huge controversy over Zendaya voicing Lola Bunny. And I'm going to save my thought on that for the final thought also. So, anyway, LeBron gets the Toons back together, and we actually get a couple of scenes of Dom and Al G, you know, just talking, chilling out, and talking about his dad problems and stuff like that, and I gotta say, I do love the scenes with those two. Those two honestly had a fun time on the set, and there's a moment where they're actually playing Dom's video game that he created. Yeah, there's also a subplot about Dom creating a basketball video game that he showed his dad, but when he tried his dad's move, it, like, glitched out the whole game and stuff like that. Hopefully that doesn't come back in the final scene of the movie or stuff like that. But yeah, they're playing a game, and I'm just thinking, I wish I could see a YouTube channel with those two, just playing video games and listening to their reactions. It would be really fun. Let me know in the comments section if you guys want to see that, because that would be fun to watch, honestly. So after that, we cut back to LeBron and Bugs getting the Toons back to Toon World and all that. And surprisingly, we get to see them in their old Toon Squad jerseys from the first movie. And I'll admit, it's a nice touch seeing that on them and just them back in the old uniforms. Even Roadrunner gets to be on the team. Finally! Something like that. But anyway, so there's also a whole bit where they're practicing on the ship, which feels kind of weird that Marvin the Martian has a basketball court and basketball goals inside his ship. Unless somehow Bugs brought that with him on the ship. Again, that's Looney Tune logic, don't need to really question it and anything. But anyway, there's this whole, like, bickering with Bugs about, you know, basketball being about work and it's supposed to be about fun. Because the word fun is in fundamental. There's a whole joke about that, you know, just... It's kind of forced and, like, dumb. But we're all here to see a basketball game. And that happens. So Al G comes to Toon World, you know, disses the Toons, basically, and gives them an upgrade. And that's when we see the new jerseys for the film, which... I'm going to be honest, I did like the look of the new jerseys when I first saw them. They actually were pretty cool. Nice to see that, like, the Looney Tunes little ring logo was on the side of it, and on the shorts. That was really decent and really cool. And it's also at this point where they ditch the 2D animation for the 3D animation, which, again, no problem with it there. But when you're doing it for the final game of the movie, I'm just like, yeah, when you're hyping it up from the trailer, you figured this would be all of it, but nope. Anyway, so Al G does say, let's get some butts in these seats! Or something like that. And we get a quick little run-through of all the Warner Brothers characters. By the way, if you're someone who's interested in Easter eggs and had a hard time trying to find every single character in a frame-by-frame look of this movie, I feel like you deserve a medal for that, because I had to look really hard for all the characters in this to see who was in it. And it was hard. It was very hard. So yeah, not just Warner Brothers movie characters, but also Warner Brothers cartoons, like Animaniacs and Iron Giant, something like that. Sadly, no Tiny Toons. Real missed opportunity there for the movie. But yeah, all the Warner Brothers characters are there, and it's now time to meet the true villains of this movie. Well, I say true villains of the movie. This is where we're introduced to the Goon Squad, and I'll talk about them way, way later in the movie. So, I didn't remember all the names of the basketball players that they based the characters on, because these are actually characters from Dom's game. Speaking of which, remember I said that I hope that's not a final thing that happens in the final shot of the movie? Yeah, the whole basketball game is Dom's video game. Not Don, sorry, I keep messing that up. It's his video game, and it introduces something different. Father versus son in a basketball game. Yeah. So, I'm going to be real quick with the basketball game, because I'm not going to go, like, each shot by shot and stuff like that. But yeah, the final basketball game, it's okay. It's alright. It's nothing like the first basketball game from the first movie, or just the final basketball game. Sorry, I keep messing that up. It does some crazy stuff, but again, it's a video game where points apparently don't matter, because you go up to like 10 million points, or freaking 1,000, or 2,000, or 3,000, or over 9,000! Sorry, I had to do that. But yeah, since it's a video game, points don't really matter in this. It's just how you get style points. So yeah, the first half doesn't go too well for the Toons, and they're kind of in that slump. They're trying to be like LeBron, but of course, they're the Looney Tunes. They gotta be them. I will point out there was one funny joke that kind of got me. They basically, Sylvester comes in and says, hey guys, I actually found Michael Jordan in the audience. And you're like looking, thinking, oh, is he actually going to make a comeback and help them? But no, it turns out it's Michael B. Jordan. I think even Daffy says, you couldn't even get Michael A. Jordan? And that kind of got a laugh out of me. And I'll talk about another part of the joke that got a laugh out of me that Sylvester says. So yeah, Michael B. Jordan gives them, like, praise, and, you know, they come up with a new game plan. They basically, you know, just have to be loony and crazy to win this game. And, sorry, I burped there for a second. And there's a part in the movie where there's a rap battle with Porky being the only one to rap, and I gotta say, it's actually kind of funny and kind of awesome to see Porky Pig rap, considering he has a stutter. But he quickly gets over that, like, super, super quick. So anyway, back with the game. It's pretty much all tied up. Dom realizes how insane Algie is and decides, yeah, I'm going to go with the Toons for this final part of the game. And, yeah, there's this whole, like, lovey father-son hugging moment. It's alright. And Dom is on the team, and Algie decides, yeah, you know what? I'll join the Goon Squad. I'll be the leader now. Something like that. And the other Goon Squad members don't actually get a say in that, because, you know, it's his world. He can do whatever he wants with it, I guess. And it's at this point where I should say there was promotional items for this movie, like shirts and stuff like that. And on the Goon Squad shirt, I didn't think this would actually make it into the movie, but we got a beef steroid Don Cheadle in the movie. And I'm like, okay, I have seen everything in this movie now. So yeah, he also cheats when they score on them. He reverses the score and reverses the shot and gets a dunk on LeBron easily. So it's literally almost a tied game, and they need one more point to win, or 2 points, or however many other points, because again, points don't matter in this movie. And they decide to use LeBron's move that glitched out the whole game. But there's a catch. The person that uses it is going to get deleted. So LeBron decides he's going to do it, but Bugs shoves him out of the way and does the move, and it's actually a legit sad moment. But, of course, LeBron gets the final shot, not really stretching his arm, just like getting another jump pad or something, because apparently you can rip the jump pads. Yeah, there's also power-ups in this game. Again, it only makes sense in the movie, but Dom throws it to LeBron, and he gets the extra jump to get the slam dunk, and Don Cheadle gets posterized, and that's it for the villain. Oh yeah, and also Bugs dies, I guess? Honestly, it actually was kind of a sad moment for me. I kind of teared up a little bit. But again, we're just going to sum it up. So, LeBron and his family get to go home. Yeah, his family was captured by algae. They also captured a bunch of other people in the real world for this game. Something like that, and yada, yada, yada. And they all get to go home. Dom gets to go to a video game camp because, LeBron learned his lesson, that same crap that's in every other kid's movie. The father has to learn a lesson and stuff like that. And somehow Bugs and the other Toons came to the real world. Yeah, Bugs didn't die, surprisingly. And him and the Toons are in the real world, and we get, Photoshopped stuff with LeBron and the Toons just hanging out in the real world and stuff like that. And the movie ends there. Big happy ending. So anyway, guys, that was Space Jam: A New Legacy. And I want to apologize for being tongue-tied throughout half of this review. I know that was kind of annoying. I was trying to remember. Again, this is from memory and stuff like that. But anyway, Space Jam: A New Legacy. Sadly, did not like it too much. Yeah, I know I'm probably going to get a lot of hate comments from kids out there who said, "What? How can you say that? This was a good movie." Hear me out. This is my opinion of what I thought of the movie. Honestly, I kind of secretly knew that this movie was not going to be as good as the first movie, because how can you really top a classic from 1995 with really good animation and really awesome mix of it with live acting characters and stuff like that, like real people and stuff. Anyway, yeah, so I sadly knew this was not going to be as good as the first movie. Does that necessarily mean it's a bad movie? Not entirely. Necessarily, it doesn't also mean it's not a very good movie. You know what? Let me just go ahead and get the pros and cons of this movie, the good and the bad, out of the way. We'll start off with the good. Sadly, there's not that many for this movie, but we'll try to find something. Honestly, the good thing in this movie is the 2D animation, which I really, really loved in this movie. It's really fast-paced, really crazy, and it shows how insanely crazy the Looney Tunes are. And, yeah, the animation's really good, the shading is still there, if you take time to notice it. Again, was not a big fan of animated LeBron, and this is something I actually want to bring up. I'll bring up the bad parts of this. Yeah, the animation was good. Some of the acting was okay. Not particularly for LeBron, which I'll get for the bad parts of it. But, I'm just getting that out of the way. LeBron, he's not an actor. He's a basketball player, which, again, if we go back to the first movie, Michael was not a very good actor in that movie, but he was still enjoyable to watch, and LeBron tries in this movie. Honestly, you see why he got really funny in Thunderstruck, which I'll probably have to check that out sometime soon. But yeah, some of the jokes itself, some of them were funny, some of them were not. And while it was hard to try and find most of the references for Warner Brothers characters, and surprisingly Hanna-Barbera characters for a reason, I guess because Warner Brothers now owns Hanna-Barbera, stuff like that, that was pretty decent to see. So yeah. Also, I wanted to talk about the joke I was talking about that got me to laugh. It was after they got Michael B. Jordan in it. Sylvester, the line he says is like, well, I figured after 25 years, Michael got handsome exceptionally. I didn't know what the full joke was, but that somehow got a laugh out of me. and it was hilarious. So now, let's talk about the bad things in this movie. One of my biggest problems with this movie is, going back to the first movie, it was a mix of live action and animation, and that worked. Some parts of this movie, they do that, and it's fine, but for the rest of it, it's... Sorry, I got a cough. It's live action mixed with 3D animation for the end of it. And mostly 2D animation for the 2D animated parts. I really don't know why Warner Brothers couldn't have done that for this movie. Like, made the whole movie live action mixed with 2D animation. And at some point, I want to point this out, they did that when Don Cheadle showed up. We didn't get an animated Don Cheadle, sadly. Why couldn't you have done that for the movie, for the rest of the movie? That's my question. Why couldn't have Warner Brothers done that? I don't know, probably maybe because, like, this was still going on during COVID and stuff like that. Yeah, something like that. Which, actually, by the way, guys, I probably should mention this. I actually did get my, COVID shot, earlier this year. So, yay. I gotta go back and get a second shot, so that's gonna be fun. And my arm was sore for, like, a while, so that's why I couldn't really hold up much for a review and, like, videos and stuff like that. But, moving on. Some of the other bad stuff, some of the references are decent, but the one other problem I have is they completely rushed seeing the tunes in the other movie worlds. We got a little bit with Granny and Speedy being in the Matrix world and, you know, Granny being Trinity for a while, something like that. But they rushed it so badly with the other tunes. All we got were longer shots were for Lola, for Daffy, Porky, and Granny and Speedy. For the other tunes, they just rushed it. And like I said, they just basically put the tunes in scenes from movies, which, I don't know, I kind of call that lazy, basically, because you're not going to take the time to reshoot scenes, which technically you did for Casablanca, which, again, there's a whole controversy for that with Pepe Le Pew, which sadly he was not in the movie, which is kind of another minus point. And another minus point is my boy Marvin the Martian not being on the team. Just being there to have him lose his ship and just get smacked by the freaking tray thing, or the landing thing that goes with the alien ship. Yeah, something like that. And this is something that bothered me in the movie. There's a little cameo of the Nerdlux from the first movie. But I noticed this. They just somehow cropped out the animation of them being happy and sad when they met Bugs the first time. That's freaking lazy right there, Warner Brothers. That's lazy right there. And I want to really talk about quick the final basketball game. Yeah, there's some crazy stuff that happens in it, but I'm just going to say, it's not as good as the final basketball game in the first movie. You can put all the hate comments in this video you want, but I'm saying it, it's not as good as the final basketball game in the movie. I'm sorry, I'm just getting raged at this because I didn't rage too much in the whole review except a few times. But anyway, what are my final thoughts on Space Jam: A New Legacy? While I knew it wasn't going to be as good as the first movie, you know, I'm just going to give the final score right about. I'm going to give Space Jam: A New Legacy a 5.1 out of 10. Pretty average. I would probably only watch it again for the 2D animated bits, even though there's not that many of them. And let's face it, the 2D animation in this movie was good. It was decent enough. But yeah, that's my final thought. So, anyway, with that being said, thank you all for watching this video. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and click that notification bell to never miss a new alert for a video. I'm sorry I'm getting tongue-tied. This just took a while. And something like that. And, since we talked about a Marvel character, I think you all could probably guess what my next review is going to be. And oh boy, do I have a lot to say about that movie. A lot. Anyway, with that being said, I'll see you awesome fans later. Bye-bye!